Alright guys, Dokkan time again, and today we're going to be doing the how-to build for the TEQ Evil Buu. So I'm a little bit late on the banner units, and I apologize. I just kind of presumed they were pretty obvious on how to build them, but you know, I got to make the video if the unit exists, especially if they're a relevant unit. Evil Buu is good. He's good. He can be a little different. He can be a little bit painful. It's all dependent on your RNG, how RNG treats you, and that's pretty much how it is at the end of the day. So when you look at the builds here on the right, you're probably noticing, okay, well, it's a full dodge build. That should be obvious, right? Well, yeah, no, it's more than obvious. It's like you have to do a full dodge build. So let's just go into his kit right now, and then we'll go over his defense, and then we'll get to explaining as to why you should build him the way you should. He has only 3 200% leaders, so this is his variety of team. I would not suggest pulling him onto a 170, mostly because he really needs the extra stats, I feel he does. But I mean, he's perfectly at home with Fat Buu. He's perfectly at home on 21's team. So that's fine. Now he is also 130 Majin Power leader. He massively raises attack for 4 turns. So 4 turns is a very long time. It's a very long period of time to have a 100% increase in your attack. It just basically protects him on floating. So even if you float him, he will come back and he will have that stack. So that is something to keep in mind. He can, I think the way it would work is that because it's 4 turns, as long as you keep him on rotation and he's getting his super attacks off, he's going to have a massive amount, no pun intended with his massively raised, a massive amount of damage, because 100% is huge. And if he double supers every turn, then you go on, it goes on to the next turn, then it goes on to the next. He can be very, very crazy. E +1. Attack and defense plus 40, and chance of performing a critical hit, and chance of evading enemies' attack, including super attack, plus 10% per Majin category ally on the team. And if all allies are in the Majin Power category, launches an additional super, and all attacks become critical. Now, I don't know what the Fun Biscuits is up with Akatsuki and giving units that have unconditional crit, and then making them a typing that already has crit in their freaking hidden potential. I'm looking at you, Super Vegeta. I don't know why they do this, and it bugs me every time. It really does. But it is what it is. It's fine. So yeah, he has 100% crit chance, and he 100% always is going to do an additional super. As long as you have a full Majin Power team. You have to have a full Majin Power team. He has plus an additional attack and defense plus 60% when performing a super. He has another additional plus 60% attack if HP is 60% or more when attacking. Not difficult to accomplish here as long as you're running a double Fat Buu team, because you're just always going to be above 50% HP. Especially since that's a buff that is when performing a super, not at the beginning or end of turn. He also recovers HP 5% at the start of turn, recovers another 5% when HP is 80% or less at the start of the turn. So if you have less than 80%, you get 10% HP at the start of the turn. If you have more than 80%, you only recover 5. And then recovers another additional 10% when HP is 40% or less at the start of the turn. The likelihood is that you're not going to be at 40% or less. That'll probably never proc, more than likely. But if it ever does, that just means you're healing 20%. You have Fat Buu on the team, and you're recovering 40%. Like I said, you're never going to die. He does survive KO attacks, but I cannot express how much this is irrelevant if he doesn't dodge. I've already had this happen 3 times. The game doesn't like me, okay? The game hates me. The game does not... The game hates me using dodge. That's just the way it is. Dodge is not okay for Joe Saiyan. But he does survive KO attacks up to once, and trust me when I say if he gets hit, you are going to die or be dang near death. He does have a 50% chance of nullifying Ki Blast supers. In my opinion, once again, the nullify Ki Blast super is cool. It's always awesome to see a unit have it, you know, extra animations. But majority of the units in the game, majority of the bosses in the game, do not perform Ki-based super attacks. They perform other base super attacks. And then he recovers sweets, which is good because that means you can activate Fat Buu's active and grab it with this guy and still recover HP. Let's go ahead and take a look at his stats here. His stats are pretty bad. And by pretty bad, I mean abysmal. Like, unacceptable kind of levels. They did this on purpose. They made him an absurdly good damage-dealing banner unit. And they made it so that it would be like an easy unit to play with Fat Buu so that you could lose enough HP to potentially have a chance to revive with Fat Buu. Because Fat Buu, after a couple turns of stacking, he's just invincible. So, I mean, this weak guy getting your HP down all the way, and then hopefully, it's very unlikely still. Your HP is going to be bouncing up and down. It's going to be like a freaking music bar. It's just going to be constantly going up and down, up and down, up and down. So, he has like no defense. Max possible defense being only 430. That's just disgusting. As of right now, we don't really have too many support units for Majin Buu Saga, let alone Majin Power. Like, I don't even honestly know if there's a 40% support you can throw onto the team, and it being a full Majin Power team as well for this guy. So, I mean, I feel like that 430 is irrelevant. But on a full Majin Power team, he's less than 400k, 393. Start of turn defense is 240. If you get touched even by normals, you're dead. You're just kind of dead by virtually almost all bosses in the game. So you truly cannot heal if you're dead. Now, I originally last week found somebody that put on attack stats in here, but I can promise you that his attack stats are easily going to eclipse 15 mil. Once you actually get him super attacking consistently, you can easily see him in a very high damage amount, and with guaranteed double supering and potentially triple if that little bit of additional that you give him goes off. He can do an absurd amount of damage with auto crits. So, yeah, he's a good unit. I like him. I really can't emphasize enough that you need to be at, you need to go full dodge. Like, all of the dodge needs to go into this guy. All the dodge needs to go into him. I don't care if he's 55% or 69. He needs full dodge 100% of the time. I do find it concerning, or that his entire kit I mean, honestly, if you're not running a full Majin Power team, this guy becomes immensely less impressive, and honestly, he becomes very, I don't know, terrible? Like, I'm not seeing how good he could possibly be. I mean, I'm glad that, you know, he's got like a 50% chance to dodge. You know, 50% chance to dodge is great, but in my personal experience, 50% chance is not 60 or 70%, and that is where the sweet spot is on dodge, is in that 60-70% range. Anything below it at 50, it just doesn't feel like you're dodging often enough. It really doesn't. Also keep in mind, you know, hidden potential dodge is a separate chance. So just because you give him 20-30 dodge doesn't mean he has 70% chance to dodge, or that he has 80% chance to dodge. No, it's a separate proc. So he's got his 50 in his passive, and then he'll have whatever your hidden potential is, and they're two separate proc chances. So, anyways, guys, let me know how you decided to build him. Did you actually give him more additional because of how much damage he can actually tank out, or did you just say screw the additional and just actually went full on dodge like I'm suggesting here? Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good day and a good night.